kid my mom introduced me to at church.
Sure is. He's cute.
You think everybody's cute?
I know, but I think he's cute.
Oh, he dressed up for the first day of school. That's so cute.
Oh my God, Rusty, come on, let's go.
See his tie?
Yes,
I like it, and I'm gonna tell him. That's a nice tie.
Rusty.
Hey, I mean it. Don't let anyone tell you different.
Thanks.
Rusty.
It's Ariel, right?
It's Ariel.
Ariel.
Very good. Well, I think we both can kind of relate a little bit. I mean, I grew up in Utah, where it's a very heavily religious community, and so I definitely had my little ways of stepping out and rebelling, and yeah.
And I grew up in Boston and never really been to the South for longer than like a weekend or a layover in an airport. So literally, I was a bit of shocked myself as a human, never mind Ren. So, you know, you can use that a little bit.
I think the first thing that I try to do is I try to write from a place of truth. I think that living in the South and coming from the South, I'm around very authentic characters, and as much as I know that casting those characters and putting them in the movie gives that sense of real, it gives it a real sense. I think that I also want to try to buck up against some stereotypes, and one of the biggest stereotypes that I think Southern culture gets is that they're resistant to any sort of person coming in with a different idea.
The town that I grew up in is very similar to Beaumont. The town that I grew up in is like 6,000 people in Florida. So for me, the rural country, you know, the heavy hand of of God and the church was very relatable, and yeah, it made sense. It wasn't
Yeah, it was the same when I was little. My town has changed since then, and it's a lot more liberal. But at the time, you know, it was the sticks, and yeah, it was the heavy hand of the church. Yeah.
Don't get too crunk out there. First sound of the police,
Yeah, sure.
and I'ma pull the plug. I don't want to get a fine, and you don't want to get another ticket.
Wait, you got a ticket for dancing?
He got 2 tickets for dancing.
Cops, man, let's get it. Come on. Yo, Reese, showtime. It's clear.
Let's go. Come on, let's dance.
No, I'm good. No, I'm good. I'm sure have fun.
Claude, nothing more is out front, man.
What, you can't keep up?
You can put on a show for that guy. Doesn't mean I'm gonna.
Attention. Ariel Moore, will you please come up to the front of the line? Your daddy is here for you.
Even I graduated high school in '02, and it was like a couple years, like junior high was like, are you rap or are you alternative? You couldn't be both. You had to be one, and whatever music you listened to, that's how you dressed. But now it's just a whole mix. Kids have iPods with 3,000 songs
thousands of different
on it.
kinds of music, or what's on the radio is like, you know, on pop radio they're playing country songs, so it's like it's so diverse now, and that's Craig. Like, he combined all, like, his musicality is ridiculous, and so he combined all these different styles of music slash
Without
dancing slash everything
without being weird. Like, he
Like,
did it in
it
a
flowed,
cool, organic way. Yeah.
I think that there's actually a lot to be said for this generation musically for a couple of things. One is the way that they have music. They listen to them digitally. So back in the day, I used to have a Walkman, and like you bought a tape, and that artist was on that tape, and you put it in the Walkman, and you basically just had that artist. These days, these kids have iPods that have like 2,000 or 3,000 songs on it, and they're going to be a variety. It's going to be a bunch of different types of music. There's that, and I also got to say, like, I think that there's something about some of these, reality shows like American Idol, and So You Think You Can Dance, and that they celebrate different types of music in different types of weeks. So, there's 13-year-olds out there that know who Burt Bacharach is. How'd that happen? Well, probably because they were watching American Idol and they were doing like a Burt Bacharach week or something like that. So I think that when you look at the original Footloose soundtrack that came out in 1984, it was all over the map.
I guess the fact that Craig adapted his story from the original, that he didn't completely write it from scratch, tells you that there's a lot of the original story in there. And yeah, I think with these getting the characters, that you want to build it. It's fun. I mean, it's fun to create your own character. That's the challenge of it.
Yeah.
For us, I mean, we were huge fans of the original film. We knew the story of Footloose very well. But for myself, I didn't watch it. Once I booked it 3 months prior to shooting, I didn't watch it at all. I kind of stayed away from it because I didn't want to mimic. You wanted to kind of feel like the words coming out of your mouth were yours and not someone else's.